Trump doubles down on the tariffs, actually triples down now that I think about it. The president of the Central African Republic has launched a meme coin with ticker CAR, and that one is actually trending right now as the time we speak. Ethereum suffers from dilution between L1s, which sometimes can be better than Ethereum itself for lower fees, transaction speeds, and all these sorts of other features that L1s have now. And the overall dominance stays skewed towards Bitcoin. So all of these news we're going to cover in today's video. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, let's actually start with the meme coin itself, the CAR, which was launched by the president of the Central African Republic. So as you can see, it kind of rugged, we don't actually know, but we have buys and sells coming in hot on this token. There's a lot of people speculating on it. I saw some friends of mine who actually got the bounce back right here towards the 400 million market cap. Again, it almost hit 1 billion market cap, but then it dropped steady below the $100 million in market cap. So again, like we saw with Cuba, like here in Brazil, it happened twice, I think. We saw with other countries trying just to make, quick buck right here. And sometimes it's not even the country itself. Most of the times it's just people affiliated with the country, like presidents or dictators, whatever the case may be. So here, another government making crypto look bad, when instead people who are into crypto, they just only see as bad players in the system. So crypto is the tech, in my opinion, is always good. Just the players here that, of course, are not very good people. So it shows here with these meme coins, these useless tokens that they are launching. The president itself even made a video right here. He posted that on his X profile, his Twitter profile, saying that it was a very good launch and it is a success currently. So very, very crazy times indeed. But let's look at our top coins, as we always do. Bitcoin's currently at $97,069. Ethereum is at $2,662. XRP 243. Solana as 203, and BNB at 611. So these tokens had some downside the past 24 to 48 hours, mainly because of Trump tariffs. We covered the tariffs crash already, which we did not see something similar to that all the way back to August 5th when we had that little Japan crisis. But now, that being said, Trump is doubling down on how tariffs are going to take shape and form. So he's going to tax now both steel and aluminum that comes from outside of the US. Well, guess what? Brazil is going to be heavily affected. For example, then BRICS countries like China, Brazil, they all export a whole lot of metals, semi-metals, and other prime resources, and they're going to be taxed heavy. So I think this was a tariff act against BRICS more specifically, because if you take Brazil, India, and China, they are the huge producers of metal here in the outside of the US. So now they're going to have a 25% tariff on top of it. And not only that, countries that do already tax everything that comes from the United States, they're going to get taxed back. So even if these taxes are not for Americans, these taxes are for the people of this country, well, the country is going to be taxed anyways. So now it's going to be a back and forth taxation between all of these countries. Again, this will hurt the economy. It doesn't matter what wing are you part of, if it's right wing, left wing, whatever that is. Everyone is sure. If you don't believe that this will not be hurtful for the economy, the global economy, you are kind of stupid. I think you should learn a little bit more on how economics work and how everything kind of circles around the United States. So if the states started shooting tariffs back and forth, that's going to hurt a whole lot everyone else, which eventually will trickle down to hurting Americans, which we start to see with food prices and everything, like it's happening more and more in the United States. But good news for Bitcoin is that we already touched the bottom of the Bollinger right here after having that huge candle for the tariffs crash. Now, most likely we will look at the 100K once again, and 100K, as always, very strong number. So if it hits below, it's going to be coming in with that huge resistance. 100K is going to act like a resistance, a psychological number. Maybe is not even going to be holding that, but it's just a very strong psychological number. We've seen that before, and this is why we keep going back and forth inside the 100K range. So that is a very strong one, and if we succeed to hold on top of it, maybe now we're finally looking at a leg up, since we spent so many days on the overbought part of the RSI. So we spent many days above the 60 on the RSI. we are finally below the 50 RSI, and we held that for a couple of days now, even weeks now. Now, even by going to the weekly chart here on the Bollinger, you see that we are now on the 60s. So we could see another leg up right here on the weekly charts, and this is what everyone is hoping for. On Ethereum, we also got all the way to the bottom, but other than the RSI getting all the way to the bottom, we don't have much good news here, because if you look to the weeklies, you see that we are below the halfway, and we could be looking back at the low 2K, so $2,100, $2,000 for Ethereum. Again, because we do tend to test the bottom of the Bollinger. You see, when it leaves the bottom, it usually tries to go for the top. If it doesn't stop like in the middle, like it did right here, like it did right here, if it does not stop, it's going to go down and touch the Bollinger. So you see right here, it touched the bottom, it's going to go, it looked for the top, and now it's going to go here. This could be considered that we touched the bottom. Again, this is what everyone is hoping for. Otherwise, we're going to see another leg down, looking for the RSI right here. On the daily for Solana, very similar to what's going on with Bitcoin. You can see that we already touched the bottom, and now we're about to flip on the RSI. This could be looking for the 215, 220 here for Solana. If we switch to the weekly, we see that we are holding halfway there. So we're holding on the halfway mark. Like on Ethereum, that it was below the halfway mark. We're more between the halfway mark EMA and the bottom of the Bollinger. Right here, we're right in the middle. So again, on the weekly, it seems bullish, because if it holds this right here, we are going to have a very, very good recovery for Solana. So if it holds here, we are most likely going to be looking to make another top, looking at the 267. So Bitcoin and Ethereum are kind of dancing around the prices itself, the returns on the quarter. So if we refresh our page right here, we are at 373 for Bitcoin on Q1 and minus 20% on Ethereum. Ethereum that almost never sees numbers these bad. We saw one in Q3 last year, and then more than 20% was just on 2022. Pandemic, we had only green. 2019, we had a bad end of the year. But after that, after 2019, we barely had bad months. And now we're having a bad streak right here, 2 back-to-back, and then Q4 was okay. Q1 is bad right now. So is this like sort of like a slingshot or an arrow and a bow that is getting pulled back, and then we're gonna shoot it? Who knows? For Ethereum maxis, this is the theory that they're getting pushed back to release and have a huge boom in maybe end of Q1, maybe Q2. But altcoins themselves are not fluctuating, and they do not look bad like Ethereum does. So who knows? Maybe it is just an Ethereum thing right now. But if we switch to the liquidation map, you can see that for Bitcoin, we have way more longs right here than we do shorts. We had, again, a lot of longs opened in the last fall that we had a few hours ago. For Ethereum, we're also skewed towards longs, and there's way more longs now than shorts. Maybe we will have another leg up of correction here. And for Solana, also not as much as Ethereum, but also a little bit skewed towards one side. On the liquidation heat map side, take a look. Look at how strong we have right here, a huge magnet towards the $98,500. I think this is the next stop for Bitcoin. We have a bit to go right here between the 98,300 and the 98,600. But if you do start to getting all these orders, we're going to see a huge candle right here. Maybe it's not going to hold, but we will see a huge candle on these prices. For Ethereum, we don't have huge liquidations on either side. So you can see everything is a light color. Nowhere comes near to what we had here previously. So we're just holding. We're just waiting to see what's going to happen. And last but not least, we have Solana, which has a little bit of positions here, liquidation leverage right here around 2.9, maybe 2.10, and a little above the $200 here. This one has a little bit more than the 2.10 one, but maybe we're gonna look at this before because we have more orders right here. So Ethereum is actually being heavily shorted by stock markets. So hedge funds and institutions are shorting ETFs on Ethereum because it is not performing well amongst other altcoins, especially being the biggest ones, is not seeing a lot of movement in this Q1. It hasn't been looking good. And meanwhile, Bitcoin, even though it's not doing great, it is stuck in that little range that we talked about. But Ethereum, no, Ethereum went from above 3,500 all the way to below the 2,600. So it is very scary for Ethereum owners or just hedge funds in general that don't like being holding negative positions. This is why they're shorting Ethereum positions on the stock market. And short positions on Ethereum, they have gone up by 500% since the election in November, being only this week 40% up in short positions. So you can see right here the amount of cash settled shorts in total here doesn't even compare to the amount that was before. And you can see, for example, on February 2nd, there was a 37% fall in less than 60 hours. This was while the headlines for trade wars started amongst Donald Trump and the rest of the world, which is what's happening currently. So a lot of people already prepared on these positions since November because they thought Trump was going to say or do something stupid. And here we come to the dilution part that I mentioned before. There's a lot of other blockchains here, L1 blockchains, that have either faster transactions, cheaper costs, more accessibility than Ethereum does. Ethereum has great L2s, for example, Arbitrum, Optimism. They are the OGs. They are very, very good. Optimism, very OG. Arbitrum came right after. Very, very good network. We have Base, we have Polygon, which is the very OG. Now they're kind of L1, L2. So there's a lot of things built around the EVM machine, but Ethereum itself, it still lacks a lot of the things that we would like to see. This is why most of us, we stay away from Ethereum as a whole. And now MicroStrategy is still buying Bitcoin. Well, what a great news right here. But now they changed their name from a MicroStrategy all the way to just Strategy. It's not micro anymore. It's just, I guess, normal strategy. Maybe one day it will become macro strategy, who knows. But now they rebranded, but they're still buying a lot of Bitcoin. And last year, they've made 75% returns on that Bitcoin. The Bitcoin yield that they had was amounted to 74%, almost 75%. And now they're lowered that number for 2025 by a lot. The 2025 number is closer to 15% for this year. So 75% last year, now they're lowering this number for 2025. Are we going to see some sells? Are we going to see some slowdown on the consistent buy of Bitcoin? Well, who knows? But we already have these KPI numbers and targets here for Bitcoin this year, which for them will be a very small return, 2.9% in this Q1 alone. That is very low compared to what we saw last year. But again, they do mean that something is going to happen very, very soon. So these were the news for the week. Today, the market could be a little rough, but I hope you guys stay safe. And if you want a safe place to trade or to have your USDC earning you yield, TARIFFS is always the best place. So check out our copy trade just to deposit USDC and start earning up to 100% returns over the year, as we have been showing and doing here on this channel. So thank you very much, and I'll catch you guys on Wednesday for more updates. Peace.